Well, here you are. Oh no, here I am. Looks like it's only me today. Frank hasn't sent me an apology, but if he shows up, we'll click him in and we'll get on with it. So thanks for joining us for today, and thank you to those who I ran into at the first 50th anniversary who watched the program. May not put a like up, but hey, they're watching us, and that's good. So what do we got on today? Veterans Affairs. They appear a couple of times. New Plymouth on Thursday, the 25th of July. There's a regional case manager clinic. The clinic will take place at the Defence Careers Office, 203 Devon Street in New Plymouth. Pre-booked appointments are available, 10 till 2, Thursday, the 25th of July. So you need to get in touch with Veterans Affairs, 0800 Veterans Affairs. See what happens. The second thing you may have seen around with Veterans Affairs is the discretionary Veterans Independence Services. That's now become back online as of Monday for people 80 plus and have the support of a registered health professional, completes a needs assessment declaration on the application form. So before, it wasn't quite so rigorous in its processes in assessing whether you needed veterans of VIP support, but now that's the case. So if you are a younger veteran and so we're talking less than 80, and have a terminal illness, the declaration on the form must be completed by a registered medical practitioner or your GP or a specialist. Those who are already in receipt of the VIP program, nothing's going to change. There you go. If you're not eligible for one reason or another, as in you're less than 80 and you don't have a terminal illness, either go and visit WINS, have a chat to them. You should be able to get some support for some of those things around the house, like the lawn mowing, house cleaning, that type of thing. Also, I think for the podiatry and other things. If you don't have success there, I suggest you pop along to your local RSA, talk to the local support person and see if you can get some support from them to make life happier for you. Get the lawns mowed, get the house cleaned, those bits and pieces. So what else have we got in the list? Oh, here we go. I ran into prior to the 2-1 charter parade on Friday at the Wigram Air Force Museum. There was a bit of a coffee morning, and Janice Marshall from the Blenheim Hub was there, extolling the virtues of going along and having a coffee with the team there. I think they had 7 at their last meeting, and that's a bit of growth. And remember, when the one in Wigram took off, I think there was only a couple of people there who started it, and now it's grown to regular 30, 40, 50, 60 people, plus wives turning up. So that's a really good thing. So if you need to get in touch with Janice, if you're in the Blenheim area, 021 071 6242. So there you go. What else have we got? Oh yes. Okay. So I'll put this link up after the podcast's finished, or after the broadcast's finished. The UK forces have a system similar to, it's called the Armed Forces Compensation Scheme. And there's an interesting article that I downloaded from the Forces News by a lawyer who has carried out an assessment. And it would appear that the complaints that we have, not enough staff, not enough funding, all those sorts of things, don't just happen in New Zealand. So it's happening in the UK as well. So I'll put that link up, have a look, have a read, inform yourself. If you've got any opinions or maybe some information you'd like to add, throw it in the link underneath this podcast. So there you go. And here's an interesting one. It's been mooted several times for New Zealand. Is like an Armed Forces Day, a day separate to Anzac Day and a day separate to Remembrance Day. So the UK big on Remembrance Day or Armistice Day in November, not so big on Anzac Day, maybe because they weren't there, or if they were in small numbers, more the Australians and the New Zealanders. And so they have Armed Forces Day, which is the last Saturday in June. So how about next year we think about it? If we wait for the higher ups in the RSA chain or wherever to get it happening, it's not going to be there. So we'll just organise something and broadcast it at the end of next June. How about that? For those of you who post the last gathering in Rarotonga were interested in having a bit of a rotation, or it may have been in Taupo, between Taupo, Rarotonga and Singapore. I was speaking to someone last Friday after the Charter Parade in Christchurch here, and there's a bit of a revision going on because it appears that it's the 2027 is the 70th 70th anniversary of the formation of 1RNZIR. And the idea was maybe we should have that reunion in Singapore and juggle the other two, maybe Rarotonga next year and the Onward Bar the following year, 26. So watch the space as more information comes available and things are confirmed. We'll put the information up for you and let you know what's happening on the reunion front. Now, this is one, I think last week we were giving the Minister of Defence a bit of a lashing over the fact that we had one flying 757 and one C-130 Hercules flying out of three. And then what do? RNZAF do an ice flight last week to bring a person back who was had a medical condition and needed attention greater than could be supplied in Antarctica. So the Air Force took a Herc, bounced from Auckland to Christchurch, all the way down to Antarctica, landed in what could only be described as night flying conditions, because as we know, this time of year, the sun doesn't get down there. So they had to land with the night flying goggles on in the middle of winter, which I would suggest wasn't a warm day. And also the fact the plane had to sit on the ground, engines running while they refueled it for the return flight. So big thank you and a big shout out to the skills and abilities of the pilots that were involved in that exercise. Wow, look, no sign of Frank. I'm a bit disappointed. Frank, I'm going to give you a phone call shortly, wind you up, and we'll see what happens. So, last post, and only, fortunately, not many today. First one is Woe-Run retired Milton Oliver, known as Ollie, passed away on the 29th of the 6th, 24. The funeral is on Thursday, the 4th of July at 1200 hours. Hope Presbyterian Church, 565 Springston Road in Rolleston. 30743, Lieutenant Colonel retired, Wilson J.G. Hamish, RNZIR, passed away Friday, the 28th of June, aged 80. The Colonel enlisted in the New Zealand Army as a staff cadet in 1961 and graduated as a lieutenant into 1RNZIR in December 64. Served as a platoon commander in Alpha Company, 1RNZIR, 65-67, and he did the 66 tour of Borneo and was then a platoon commander, 6th Platoon, Victor 2 Company, 67-68. So 3 years there of pretty much constant service in a either emergency or war setting. And his funeral is today, 2 o'clock at Lamb and Haywood, 467 Wairaki Road. 42750. Coleman DF, known as Dennis, private RNZIR, after a very long battle with COPD on the 23rd of the 6th, 24. Delta 625258, WO2 retired. Morgan, first name Reeve W, NZ Regiment and RNZIR. Call time on the 22nd of June and marched off. Reeve served in 2 NZ Regiment 5961 in Malaya, and again in 1 RNZIR 6466 doing the 65 tour to Borneo. And that's us for today. Good things that came out of the weekend, the 50th anniversary of 2-1 RNZIR and the Charter Parade, was that I discovered people were fronting up saying they watch this on a regular basis. Not when it's live, but certainly when they get home from work. They may not put the like button up, or they may not comment, but shout out to Steve and Aaron up in Nelson. Steve, I think, is in the lower hut, and he was saying there's a group of maybe 20 odd people there who watch this. So the word about us is getting out, and we're doing things quite good, hopefully by informing and advising you of what is happening. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Oh, hang on. I think we've got a Frank Lewis. Here he is. He's rocking in. I can see some faces. Waiting, waiting. He's coming. He's connected to the audio. Da-da-da-da. Waiting. Still here. Come on, Frank.
All right.
Here he is. I hear the voice. I can't see the face. Ta-da! Here he is. Good morning, afternoon, evening, Frank. How are you?
Humble apologies. I've had a real miserable night. Been pretty crook.
Oh, right. No worries, mate.
And I finally crawled out of bed, and I thought, oh hell, I better get hold of you and apologise. So sorry about that.
I don't apologise for being crook, mate. It happens to all of us.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
So I've had a bit of a chat, waiting for you to turn up. I've done all the bits and pieces. So last post is crossing the bar is in your hands, sir. If you have some.
Right. Just give me 2 seconds, and I'll. Hi. NZ 16930 Watson Alan Douglas Royal New Zealand Navy joined 1 bar 61. Artificer apprentice crossed the bar on the 24th of June 2024. A funeral for Alan was held on Saturday. NZ 15801 Tyree Mervyn RNZN joined 1956, leading mechanical engineer. Merv crossed the bar on the 27th of June 2024, and a funeral for Merv will be held today at 1100 hours. Aoraki Funeral Services Chapel, 160 Mountain View Road, Timaru. If you contact Aoraki Funeral Services, they have live streaming available. Condolences to both those sailors and their families.
Thank you, Frank. So I've been through the blurb. Any comments about any of those topics that I zapped out to you?
Yeah, I had a read through the one about the UK.
Yep.
There's definitely something that we need to improve on here. It's, I can't say much more than that.
Yeah. Well, it's, as I said, it's interesting to see that that New Zealand isn't the only one that has issues for
Yeah.
the ex-servicemen getting access to compensation through whatever the legislation is and however it works. So we're not on our own. I would suspect that if you go anywhere, there'll be it the States, Canada, Australia, any services anywhere. Perhaps the service is not really appreciated by those that we serve when it comes to post-service compensation for injuries and so forth that are suffered in the service.
Definitely. I wrote a note down here somewhere, but when I crawled into bed last night, I sort of forgot everything.
No problems, Frank. So do you want to do the Navy Ode?
Yeah, hang on, I haven't quite got it here, but I will carry on with the ode. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them.
Thank you, Frank, and thank you, folks, for joining us. We'll keep you informed as much as we can. And if you have any queries, questions, or whatever you want us to focus on some particular thing, drop us a line. We'll take it on board and see what we can do. The AGM is at the end of the month, 27th, Birkenhead RSA in Auckland. We look forward to seeing. I think it kicks off at about 11 o'clock till 2 o'clock, something like that. So plenty of time to make your way there if you're driving or flying from somewhere. And I think the good thing about the reunions that certainly after the one on the weekend here in Christchurch, good to catch up with those that you've served with, good to find out how we're doing. And I think at the age that we're getting to, older dogs, a lot of conversations about our health and well-being and how we've managed to negotiate the trials and tribulations of life. But good to sit around. Some guys, one chap I hadn't seen since I left Singapore in 1970, whatever it was, 77. So nearly 50 years ago, which is it's a bit of a stretch. Obviously, an indication we're all getting older. But stay in touch with your people, and I think there was a lot of conversations that were initiated around how do we stay in touch, how do we look after each other. And one of the bits of feedback I've had is that one of the guys is doing a couple of trips, so one to Australia and one to the southern reaches of New Zealand, in the remainder of this year to make contact with a couple of the guys that we had with us on the weekend. So it doesn't take much, and we've even established prior to the reunion one of those little messenger group pages. And so we keep in touch with the people that way. It's one way of doing it. And if conditions or circumstances dictate, make a phone call, find out how they're doing, and seek assistance through the RSA, Veterans Affairs for entitlements, and so on and so on. There you go. Take care. Drive safely, whatever you're doing. Look after yourselves and your family, and remember those that you have served with. Thanks very much for joining us.
And apologies for being late.
Thanks, Frank, for drawing yourself out of the sick bed and joining us this morning.
Okay, bye.